can you get up and ask us a question and do it, or is that embarrassing? I'll try to do it and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Is that better? Or can you do it?
Yeah.
Stand up, ask us a question, and tell us how you want us to respond.
Okay, well,
Tell
this
us
is what I
Hudson did.
usually do. So I'll say something like, someone tell me, what's the capital of Pennsylvania?
Now I'm going to stop you. When you do this, you're saying to them,
They know,
you want
yeah,
their,
they
they
know.
know, you've taught them. When I do this, I want to see hands. I do not, and somebody yells out, say, whoa, whoa, we got to stop. I got to reteach this behavior. When I do this, what's everybody know you're going to do? Say it to me. Raise your hand. Okay, go
So
ahead.
I'll do this, and then someone raise your hand and tell me. One of you, yeah,
What's the
Cole.
question again?
So, okay, so everybody, someone tell me what is the capital of Pennsylvania? Cole?
Harrisburg.
Okay, everybody, the capital of Pennsylvania is?
Harrisburg.
And then you all say it.
So she said, I wanted, she did a click, and that's when they all say it. Or you can say, all right, think, what's the capital of Pennsylvania? And then you can say, everybody. Whatever you, make up your own, okay? But you got to control how they're answering it. And I told you before, I like when you walk around, wait time extended, remember wait time extended? Where you go around and you don't say, all right, now here's the question, and hands start going up. And the guys, I got to tell you, I see it, you call on the people with their hands up. You do, I know you do, and that means half the class can check out. This, you know, I know the secret in here, don't raise your damn hand, they're not going to call on you, right? Keep your hand down, don't let them. All right, so you say, everybody, or you can say, like and I, you know, we're talking this, you can say, all right, answer in your mind. Saw that in our book there. In your mind, answer the following questions. Why did the Revolutionary War start when it did? Answer in your mind. And then you can do a pair share, and then you can say everybody. The everybody ones work mostly. That click one works when it's a single answer, single kind of word. But here, what I'm saying to you is, I want you this week to evaluate how are students answering you, and then I want you to ask yourself: is this effective? Is everybody involved? Is everybody able to answer? Am I getting everybody to think about it? And do I know how many know? There's another thing about questioning. Depending on how you do it, you know, you can. Yeah, I saw. Does that still do? Where he said, if you put it in front of your, I saw them in there one time. He said, in front of your hand, in front of your chest. If you understood that concept, you're sure you got it. Do this. If you're not sure, do this. If you think you got it, do this. If you're totally confused, do this. Everybody look at me. Nobody look around. All right, go ahead. Then you can look around. You see, okay, I got 4 of these, 2 of these, and the rest are these. Yes.
And we've talked about this before. Remember, if you're in the second semester, if the kids have not been doing this all the time, if they don't know that the default is you're going to call on them rather than them shouting it out or putting their hand up and jumping out of their seat, then, as you said, you got to teach a behavior. You need to align that with your co-op, make sure your co-op's aware of it, and then teach the behavior, because they're not used to it.
Yeah, you can't just start doing this. They're not through osmosis going to learn it. You got to say, guys, I would really like to get responses from you differently today. So here's what I'm going to do. When I ask a question, I really don't, no hands. Okay, I'm just going to look around and whatever. Or I'm going to say, if I do this, or I say everybody, or whatever, do whatever you want to teach, pieces at a time. Yes?
So I remember last week you guys said that you guys want the first answer you hear to be right.
Yes.
My thing is that when I do that, like, and I have like, you have like your go-to kids in every class, you know, that like will always raise your hand. For the most part, they got the right answer. If I stray away from my go-to people,
You'll get a
and
wrong
then
answer.
you get the wrong answer, is that like counterintuitive of what you guys are telling us?
Yes.
Because
No, how would you get your not go-to person
no,
to
that's
have
not
the right
I'd
answer?
rather call on someone who doesn't always, you know what I mean? If someone who doesn't usually put their hand up puts their hand up, I usually take notice of that and I'll call on them. Even if they don't got the right answer, I'd like to like stop, break it down. Okay, why did you say that? Why? What answer? Like, where did
If
you get
it's
that?
something that's critical to what you're doing, it's an answer that you really want, it's important, then there's some ways to do it. You can do pair share first and listen. Okay, you can walk around as they're working on something. Yeah, I also have seen them do this. All right, everybody, first president of the United States, but whisper to me. What is the first? Who's the first president? Go ahead, whisper. Who is it? See what I did?
Yeah.
I heard her. She had it right. I don't know. Thoughts, supervisors. Thoughts on getting the wrong answer. Larry, I saw you nod.
Yeah, if you get the wrong answer, I would always find out why they got that answer, and then I would move on to somebody that I would know would have the right answer,
Mhm.
and then I would come back to that person, and as Mike and I were talking, then I would probably ask another person to repeat, so that I would hear the positive answer, the correct answer, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, try to
in a
beat it
row.
out of them. Try to beat that wrong answer
I just
out.
didn't want, I
Yeah.
didn't know if you guys didn't want the wrong answer to be
No,
so
that's a
loud.
really good point, and one that I'll add to the next seminar. You can't just call them the same people, but you might want to do some wait time extended where you have kids working together. Some ways, on certain things where you really want to get the top 3 answers, you might want to be, but just the general answering, if you get the wrong answer, beat it out of them with 3 or 4 people giving you the right answer. All right, good question, yes.
Sometimes what I do is like explain why that's not the answer I was looking for, and then they can know like next time, like why not.
Good
and
point.
not
That was,
just
you
know.
don't just give them the right answer, you give them the right answer and why.
Yes.
Good, good, yes.
What about the students that just have like dreadful stage fright when they're qualifying? Even if they have the right answer, they
All right,
just don't go along.
here's a good one. What do you do about the kid with dreadful stage fright that doesn't want to, first of all, we're trying to create a comfortable setting. If the student's there, I would say, and they have the right answer, they're with you, they're working, I don't know that you force that. But if you're doing a wait time extended, you put them in groups of 3.
Okay.
And if you have stage fright, I know you do, I know everybody who does in the room, you don't want to talk. But I come over and I stand, I listen, you give a really good answer. All right, I'm going to slowly start to get you to be okay talking here. All right, and I'm going to say you have a good answer. I'm going to call on you, all right? That's
You're
what I
gonna
do.
give them like forewarning.
I would say, you know what, I'm going to get some answers in a second. I'm going to come to you. Are we good?
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. And then I'd say, and Evan, just give me that answer, because I love that answer. All right? So you can, and then don't do it all the time. You do that 3 or 4 times, you'll reduce the stage fright. The way to get over stage fright is get on stage. But I don't think you get on stage by going, "Ooh, Evan," and you kill them. You know, they're gonna. My wife was very shy in high school, and she honestly, she'll tell you that she would sit there if they called her, she just wouldn't answer. She wouldn't make. She was a straight A student. She wouldn't answer. She wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't make a face. She just wouldn't do anything until they got tired of looking at her, and then they go to somebody else because she just wasn't going to answer. Which I've never. I don't know if I've ever run into that. I married the shyest person I've ever met. I guess she's not anymore, by the way. Darn it. Okay, go ahead, Jeff. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So, I'm going back to the wrong answer. You talk about beating it out of them.
Not bad. I didn't.
That's what you said.
I said it. No, I meant
My
beat the right answer in
No, I
there.
get it.
All right.
But my question is, don't you risk then embarrassing the person that got the right answer? I mean, because
The wrong answer, you
The
mean.
wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you keep going to people, they get the right answer, they get the right answer, they get the right answer, that they might feel like, look, I'm stupid. Everybody else knows.
Yeah, you got to
I
read
know
your
the
kid.
answer.
You got to read
I
your
feel like
kid.
you might embarrass
Yeah.
the kid that way. right?
Yeah, good point. You got to read your student. And the one thing too, I like that almost all of you do. You get the wrong answer. You say, "I see where you could think. I see where you got that." Okay, and it's almost there. Or no, that was true for Italy. I'm going back to what you were teaching. That was good for Italy. That isn't what Germany. How about Germany? So yeah, you got to be careful. None of this is kids first. I would say kids first, but you do have to get the right answer in everybody's head. Somebody else said yes.
I feel like the pass option helps a lot with that. Like my kids that don't like to talk in class, I'll still call on them without their hand up, and even if they don't want to talk, they'll squeak out, pass. And so
And then
then I pick someone that I know knows the right answer, and then that kid is more confident when I come right back because they know that they have the right answer.
They will repeat the right answer to you. Yeah, good stuff. See, it all goes together. Yes.
Kind of going off of what you said, like I have one kid and she's really high and she's dead keen to answer, like ask questions, and then I'll call and I'm like, yep, what? And she's like, and
You talk about Glack.
and it's literally like she knows the answer, she really does, and she wants to answer, but just and by the time she's about to start her like word, all the other kids are like, it's this, or they're like throwing chairs across the classroom because it's been 20 minutes, and like I don't want to do it. Like,
It's brainstorming things that you can do for her. What if you said to everybody, okay, all right, I'm going to ask a question. I want everybody to write the answer down to this. I want you to write down the answer, the last name of the first president. Don't do it. Last name of the first president of the United States. Wait till she writes it down, and then call on her. So she,
We'll
try.
see. Yeah, that would. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like I'm even talking about things in like calendar, like, oh, what day is it? and then nothing for 5 minutes.
Let me-
Like really things, and it's not as if I'm just calling her, like cold calling her, like
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
raising her hand, and I'm like, okay,
I got-
well, math was meant to start 20 minutes
I got
ago.
nothing. All right, yeah.
Some of them might also be something that you need a little one-on-one with a student, and I don't care what level, it could be high school, that, you know, we really need for you to be involved in class a little bit, and let's talk about how we can make you more comfortable with whatever's happening. And those kinds of things with the younger kids. We had one today that she got her hand up and she talked for 5 minutes and didn't have an answer in there. But she was enjoying the discussion she was having in class. So it's how do you manage that stuff? Maybe it's this for a little while.
I'd be tempted to go,
This
yes.
is how you answer the question.
That's a good point. I'd be tempted to go to this girl sometime when you have a few minutes and just say, do you know that sometimes you put your hand up and then there is an answer. You need to be a little pause before to be sure you got it. Maybe you can help her, you know, maybe she wants to be noticed so much before she,
It's not even that. I don't know if there's like, it's not a process and delay, but it's like, she does know the answer. Like, she's one of the top kids in the class. She just
freezes up.
freezes, and then like, you can see it like working in her brain, like, oh, I was gonna say this. How do I say that? How do I verbalize that? And then like, all of it, then like after a while, and then the answer comes
Makes you
out.
hesitant to call her,
That's
yes.
how like one of my kiddos is. Like she's a great kid and she loves to raise her hand. She loves to be involved. And my co-op and I have talked to her about like, okay, like when you raise your hand, you have a certain amount of time that like you get to answer like my question. And if you can't come up with that, like we're going to have to like move on. So we've talked to her in private about it. And we've said like only raise your hand when you feel 110% comfortable that you can physically answer this in a good amount of time.
Well, I've
And,
seen
like,
Hutch do this. Hutch will do the thing where he says 5 words. You get 5 words or stuff. He'll say, okay, da-da-da, answer me in 5 words. And as they're talking, he'll go, done, next, you know, and so you get 5 words. And kids learn to make the most of their 5 words. So yeah, cutting them off is an issue. Yes.
That kid, we can talk for 2 days.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, weekend would cover it, yeah.
We do a lot of work with whiteboards in second grades, like they basically bring them wherever they go, so they write down the answer, like whether it be in class or like anytime, and then it kind of eliminates that, so they have like those 5 words written down in front of them, and then they just raise their hand, and then they just look at their whiteboard, read it, and they're done.
I love that with the whiteboards where even with her, if she wrote it down, you'd think that she could then refer to it. Speaking of whiteboards, if you're saying, boy, I wish we had those. I made those for my daughter-in-law. If you go to Lowe's and you buy a piece of the whiteboard material, they'll cut it for you. If you tell them a teacher, they won't charge you for the cuts. They'll cut them into a square, and then you just get erasable markers. You can give every kid, Kelly Carnes has them up in my office, the ones that we cut. You just go to Lowe's, find the whiteboard, drag it back, and say, I need them a foot by a foot, and you've got a set. Instead of going to Teaching Touches and paying $80, I think it's $18. You got a set of whiteboard. So yeah, getting it written down. The moral of the story before we move on, and I said on here, you know, just to eliminate. I want you to, and last time I was saying this, I want you to think about how they're answering you, because I know, if you're like every other seminar group we've ever had, you're at a point where you're getting a lot of either the same ones answering or the shout outs along with the volunteers. You decide. Remember, guys, you're a benevolent dictator. It is your world. It is your world to control. The first time, when I first got hired, I'll tell you a little story. When I first got hired, I went up to my last period class, and the guy who would eventually become my mentor and my very, very good friend, he said to me, the last guy got run out of here. The kids ran him out. You will decide if they do that to you. You know, and you guys have come into a situation where your teacher, your co-op has established rules and order. And when it's your own to establish, things like we're talking about today, how kids answer you, is a big part of the tone of the room. It's a big part of the tone of the room. You need to decide at the very beginning, here's how we answered here. All right? Are we good? Yes?
As far as that goes, what you just mentioned, I think I guess our placement this time seemed to work out really good because we started, and then 2 days after we started, like a whole new group of kids came in.
Where you are, yes.
Where I am at least.
Yes.
So basically, I dictated how it was going to be, and 2 of the different classes have never even seen him teach.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of establish my own classroom for 2 of the 3. So I don't know if that's how it is.
Well, that's the beauty of block, but if you're in an elementary school, they've been there 90, 98 days, and you get what you get. But a block is a wonderful thing, and it gets you past that need. Get out the sheet I gave at the very beginning. It's cheers and jeers. Have a little fun here. Did I give you this? Yeah. Hang on. Okay, I'm not even a real big believer on homework, period, because it's kind of spent its time. That's another issue for another day. But something they want. There's something they want. And whatever it is, 5 minutes at the end to be on the computers, da-da-da-da-da. Go ahead.
You gotta find that's something that they want. And so in my comparative issues class, and I'm into whole brain teaching, and I'm really loving it. And I started out the semester going, hands and ha, claps. Yes. And and I taught them it, and I'm teaching you guys this, and I taught them that. And about 4 weeks into the semester, I'm going class, and I'm going, okay, and I'm not waiting for them to answer.
Glad caught me there. Did you hear him say, I can't believe you let him get away with that? You're right.
Yeah, and and I just started, or half the kids would, and I would be busy. I'm into teaching, man. I'm really good. And I was teaching them not how to do it. I was going to be like Dan back there, and Dan's just going like, this is really stupid, and I was letting him get away with this. I was letting it happen. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So, I came in and said, it's my fault. So, I came in and I taught the class, teach a behavior, to get a behavior. And I said, it's my fault. I taught you not to listen. I taught you that that's okay. Do you understand? We do that. When we give them the answers, we teach them. So I put scoreboard on the clock, and I put donuts next week that I was bringing. And I said, but we got to stay with me. All right, today. Ready? Class? Yes. I got to have 150% class. Yes. All of a sudden, I started putting it up there, and I had college kids laughing and participating at 100% and engaged. And the problem was that I was selling it. If I can't sell it,
They're not buying.
they're not buying. You got to be an actor. You've got to be, hey, just come sit down.
Right. Whatever that was. All right. And I would say this too. If you always got the cool kid in the class. If the cool kid does it, you notice it. All right. The cool kid's Cole, and Cole has, and all of a sudden Cole, he buys in, he does it. You go, hey, we got Cole doing it. All right. And as far as like mirror, once you start it, you got to sell it, and you got to say, no, we got to do it again. We got to do it again. Come on, guys. Come on, with me here. I used to say to my class, I'm working hard, man. You got to work harder. You got to work with me, because I'm working here. All right, discipline. When you're disciplining, we were going to do a big thing on management. We're just going to do this. We're going to talk about what we think are the five things that need to happen when you're disciplining in a class. We're not having problems with management, so we're not going to spend a whole day on it. If you're having problems with management, you need to see us. We'll talk about it. But here's the things that Gleck and I have always said are the steps to remember, and I'm hoping you're doing this. First thing you do when you have a problem is the eyes. You give them the look, right? And they used to laugh because when I was at MIHS, they said I could do it. I had two things going for me, eyes and voice. But I could clear 50 feet across the cafeteria. And a kid would look up and he goes, sorry. Right? 50 feet across, you give them the look. All right, eyes first. Then proximity. Get in the area. Be able to move around your room. Find a way to redo your room. Find a way to get around. Even if you're in a secondary room, find a way to get closer to them. So you got eyes, then you got proximity. Okay, then you got touch. Touch is in quotes. You don't touch them. You don't touch them. You put your hands on a kid, you lose. Parent comes in for a parent conference, and they say he put his hands on him. You lose. But you can touch the desk. Or you take the paper.